Hello people, this is Jim, otherwise known as the Outlaw. I just thought I'd say something about cleanliness. Now I'll be honest now, I've had quick cows licking a promise, but I haven't had a shower or a bath for 6 weeks. And I'll tell you something, if you was seriously in a survival situation, right, all you would be thinking about is getting the fuck out of there, right? You wouldn't be thinking about washing your ghoulies, washing your arse, washing your armpits and washing your face. I have had quick cows licking a promise when I find a stream, but it's fucking cold and you don't want to, you don't want to make your situation worse. So I've got baby wipes. So yes, I've got a luxury. I can wash my nuts, I can do my armpits, and I can do my face, my neck, inside my ears, up my nose. Right? I can do that with baby wipes, that's no problem. And plus they smell a little. They smell okay. Now, when you're in a real survival situation, you're going to have one set of clothes. Now, for 6 weeks, the only thing that I've changed is my socks. But in a survival situation, I wouldn't have spare socks. I wouldn't have spare trousers or a spare jacket unless you're a survivor of a of a boat and you get to an island, or a survivor of an air crash. Then you have clothes and you rummage through. Would that be looting? I don't know. No, because you're in a survival situation. But you're on your own, you fall down, you seriously hurt yourself, right? But you can walk, you can talk, you can use your hands, right? So you've badly sprained your ankle, something pathetic like that. You're in a survival situation, you haven't got a rucksack. All you've got, well, you've got a rucksack, but it's got like just a waterproof jacket. You've got a couple of sandwiches in it because you've gone out for a day hike. You've got your little survival kit. Now, if you haven't told anyone where you're going, then you're still not screwed. Not unless you're in the middle of the Andes or in the middle of the fucking Borneo jungle or out in the Antarctic. If you're in those sort of places or the Sahara, then you're fucked because you've told no one where you're going. But if you're just in a, you're 40 miles in the middle of some forest, you fall over, you twist your ankle, you can hardly bloody walk, and you bandage your foot up yourself, and you've brought it back to a comfort zone, right? But then you find yourself, you think, right, I can't walk this 40 miles. That's an emergency situation. That is when you're going to need a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of know-how to survive. So, you haven't got a tent, you've purely got your backpack, you've got a couple of sandwiches, you've got a bit of drink, you've got a day out kit, and you've got a little survival kit, right? It's not a big massive one, it's not a big fancy one. You got your knife, you got a lighter, you got a compass, so you know exactly which way you're coming out. Perhaps you have, if you're lucky, you got a bit of dental floss and a safety pin, and you can make a fishing line. If you're near water, it's all about if you are close to these types of, if you've got this, then great. Now, as I was saying about cleanliness, the thing is about that is, at the moment, I'm incognito, so to speak, right? But, and I've only done it once. What I should do every day is take the sleeping bag that's inside this sleeping bag, and every other night change them round, so that cheesy feet and that don't make the inner sleeping bag stink to high heaven, because at the moment, fucking hell, I mean, the inside sleeping bag, it probably smells like a butcher's ass, right? But hey, it doesn't matter. You know, I'm doing videos about survival and shit like that. And so yes, I should be um, rotating the sleeping bags each night. Um, and I'm going to start doing that actually, because otherwise the other sleeping bag is bright orange and yellow, as I said in my first or second video. And the reason I done that was because if you want to be seen, orange sleeping bag. If you want to remain incognito, just pure green one. No one will see you lying there in the bushes. But if you want to be found, obviously you use a bright colour of some description to get seen. Anyway, yeah, so interchange the sleeping bag. If look, I go with 2 sleeping bags. I told you why, because it's layers. Layers make warmth. Reduce layers, you become cool. So if you want added warmth, you add a layer, as I said in my first video. Does this make sense to you people? Of course it does, because you've done a lot of hill walking, fell walking, mountains, stuff like that. You get hot, you take your jacket off. You get cold, you add a jacket, okay? Now, what I was going to say about this cleanliness night is, yeah, interchange the sleeping bags. If I know no one else carries 2, well, perhaps someone does out there, but I think my idea of layers, it might sink in. So rather than buy a big bulky 4-season bag, buy a 2-season bag, a 3-season bag. They're lighter, they're smaller, they still pack more or less the same size as a 4-season bag, but you can either become warmer or cooler. Anyway, as I said, as you can see, like if you look at my first video, which was done about, what, I don't know, 5 weeks ago, I'm still wearing the same clothes. Yes, I smell to high heavens. I've been hitching rides along the country through Scotland and the Lake District. I'm now in the Peak District, virtually. And I actually said to every person that's picked me up in the car, to which I thank everyone that's ever given me a lift. That's first of all. I'm sorry, I can't remember all your names, but you know, as I say, I thank you all for that. And I've always said, and I think some of you drivers will vouch for me, I've always said, sorry I smell, but I've been on the go for 6 weeks, or something to that effect, right? So like, yes, I'm like I'm a tramp that is showing you survival stuff, how to do shelters like with a tarp, how to do other types of shelter. I've shown you 2 shelters at the moment. The one where it was just a flat lean-to against a big log, lean it down. That's a nice shelter because there's enough room to get under and sleep, and you will be out of the elements. That little shelter over there, a debris shelter as it's called, it wasn't anything fancy, but if you want to survive, do you want fancy? No, you want warmth and you want dry, eh? And you want well, yeah, you want warmth, dry, and a drink of water, right? And a fire, if you've got the kit to do that. And then once you've got all that, you have the elements to survive. This here is your survival kit, right? This, because it's this that gives you the will. Now, in a real survival situation, would I collapse and sort of think, fuck it, I give up, man. What the fuck am I going to do? I don't know. I really do not know. We do not know until we're actually put into that situation. So everybody can turn around and say, I'm going to be a survivor of the zombie apocalypse. Zombies are not going to happen. Okay, You might say, okay, you say I'm going to be a survivor of the zombie apocalypse. All of a sudden, there's a zombie apocalypse. The first day, you get fucking eaten by one. So, you know, because you never saw him coming, because you weren't prepared. I haven't got a clue if I ever get caught out somewhere, if I'm going to be prepared. It's up here. It's if you can capture that element of knowledge. If you have, I've read a lot of books on bushcraft and survival and stuff like that, right? But everything, absolutely everything in survival is a learning process. There's no such thing as an expert, right? Bear Grylls, Ray Mears, yes, they've been on television claiming to be experts, right? And yes, I admire the both of them, even though some of their stuff is a little bit far-fetched. But we won't go into that. And the thing is, they're not actually in that situation of survival. They're earning a lot of money doing this. Now, to be honest, as I said, I haven't got a clue if I could survive. Oh, okay, let's put it this way. If I'm in the middle of the Sahara, I would die. I would die. There's no water, right? You're going to freeze every bloody night. So let's face it, in the Sahara, you are going to, at night, you're going to, unless you walk at night and sleep during the day, but you've got to find shelter. You've got to find shade, which is very difficult in the Sahara Desert if you've got nothing, right? Then you've got the Antarctic, right? Now, hope to fucking Christ I never get caught in the Antarctic, which I don't think I will, but people are saying, yes, you can make fire with just a piece of ice, smooth it down, make it like look at a magnifying glass. But the thing is, I'm thinking, where the hell do you get wood in the Antarctic to make a fire? How the hell do people make fires? So you would need a fuel, right? If you're out in the Borneo jungle, right, okay, you have a better chance, haven't you? Because first of all, you've got water, right? Okay, yes, you have got water in the Antarctic, right? But you haven't got water in the Sahara, not unless you come across these, what are they called, wadi holes? Okay. In the Sahara, it's going to be like really, really, really hard to survive. In the desert, you've got easier chances to survive because you can find water, you can find things to eat, right? Whether it's fucking tarantula spiders or whatever these people are really into, right? If you're hungry, you'll probably eat it. Right? You'd probably be able to make a fire easier. So yeah, it all depends on your surroundings. Surroundings are really important. I mean, there's this native tribe, isn't there, that live out in the Siberian, you know, and the whole floor isn't it? It's just frozen all year round, isn't it? And you know, and yet you've got a tribe of people who live out there, and I'm thinking, bloody hell, but they've been doing it hundreds of years, you know, so they know the score, they know how to make the traps. Me, yes, I look at a book and I think, oh yes, let's make a snare. So you get a bit of copper wire or whatever, you make a snare, you put it on what you think is a trail, 3 days and you're still waiting for the fucking rabbit to go into it, right? Because you've put it in the wrong place, because you're not an expert. Then, on a branch of a tree, I've seen it, you put the 4 or 5 snares in a row, right? So Mr. Squirrel comes along like this, right? 3 days later, you're still waiting for that squirrel to go through onto that particular branch, okay? So it's not, survival is skill. okay, to the native of that particular wilderness, okay, because they have that skill that they've developed over the years. But to develop that skill, you've got to practice up here, practice with this, okay, with your hands, practice with your brain, and that is what survival is all about. There's no one that can turn around and, like Bear Grylls, he supposedly slept inside a dead animal. The thing is with that, the animal would have been rotting. It would have stunk to high heavens. And I don't care who you are, right? There's no way you're going to just get inside that animal and sleep there. I don't care how desperate you are. You are not going to... The maggots will be crawling up your nose. They'll be going in your mouth. They'll be going in your orifices. Now then, if Bear Grylls had done it right, if he'd have set a fire inside that and burnt all the insides of that animal, just enough to make it smell of smoke and get rid of that putrid, rotting, dead fucking flesh smell, right, then yes, I believe he could have slept in it, okay? And if I'm wrong, I apologise to Bear Grylls, but I really don't think he slept inside that. It's just too, you know, well, oh, first of all, you're pulling the guts out of the thing, you know, and yeah, okay, if it had been there 3 hours, yeah, okay, you could pull the guts out, sleep inside it. Fair enough, I can believe that. But if it's been there a couple of days, the smell is going to be bad, isn't it, not people? So I think to myself, yeah, right. Did he or didn't he? That is the question. Has Bear Grylls ever been in a real life survival situation? I don't think so. The people that have been in a real life situation and survived, they are the people that should be telling which they do tell their story in the book. The guy that got caught in the rock and he chopped his own arm off to get to that. I mean, that took balls. I mean, could I cut my own arm off? I'd have to be fucking desperate. That guy, well, to do that, I'll tell you what, that takes a lot of courage, and I really admire him. And just thinking about it brings a tear to my eye, because he survived a really harrowing time. And also those guys that, they had a plane crash in the Andes and they decided to eat their compadres. I mean, that takes admiration, because that takes balls. That is survival. That is what survival is really about. It's about passion. You would have to have some passion and real will to survive, to eat your friend, a dead friend. Can you imagine that? You know, could I? Could I? I don't know. I don't think so. But I'm not in a survival situation. This is all pretend. This is all for the effect that I give to you on YouTube. This is about showing you what survival could be if you're in that situation. Anyway, I've bored you enough. It's time for me to go. This is Jim, otherwise known as the Outdoor Outlaw. You can say anything you like. You can comment. Just don't call me Shirley. Speak to you soon. Have a great life, people. Ta-ra now. Bye.